howdy do. Now, on Twitter.com the other day, shenanigans ensued, as they often do. We're going to take a look at a tweet. It's worthy of some discussion, because I thought it brought up a few, well, not points. Certainly got a lot of people riled up. And for, I think, justifiable reasons. Let's take a look at this tweet together, give it a read, and discuss. Hey, Film Twitter, I got a question. We all know red flag movies, Fight Club, The Joker, etc., that we can all spot on sight. But is there any green flag movies? Movies that you hear someone say that makes you instantly trust or like a person? Now this, as you can probably already guess, is a really dumb tweet. It's a terrible opinion to hold, and it's a horrific way to look at the world and to look at other people around you. Now, obviously, I can determine the character of people by all kinds of different methods. I can listen to their principles. I can assess the opinions that they have and how they form them on social or political issues, or just watch the things that they do, the actions that they take, the things that they perform in order to maybe make the world a better place, or the other way around. Are they willing to stick to principles? Are they willing to self-sacrifice? Are they willing to put themselves in harm's way for the sake of another? The list is endless. Also, I can sniff their butt, and that has never steered me wrong so far. But when it comes to people, judging other people, this might be one of the worst ways of dispensing trust or giving trust in another person. So don't devalue something like trust. It's very important. What was that? My ice just shifted in my mug. You know what? I'm going to leave that in because I'm a real... that's organic content creation right there. So, start at the top. Red flag, green flag movies. Now, I would say that I have a similar, very loosely with the word similar, just to be sure we're all on the same page here. I have somewhat of a similar outlook when it comes to movies with red flag and green flag, but it has nothing to do with principle, character, trust, or assessing whether or not the person is a good person or a bad person or anything like that, right? There are some movies that if someone comes to me and says are well-constructed and well-crafted and are objectively good movies, if they say some of those movies are good, then I am not going to be interested in anything they have to say regarding film, right? Unless it's for the memes. So if someone came up to me and said, you know what, Rags, I think that A Wrinkle in Time is a masterpiece of filmmaking. As far as the just cinematic wonderment and emotional resonance and a logical progression of events and cause and effect, I just think that A Wrinkle in Time is unmatched in its quality. If you come to me and say that, I don't care about anything that you have to say when it comes to films or cinema. Just leave me alone. You've been disqualified. Don't want to hear it, all right? Now, if you came to me and said, you know what? I watched Citizen Kane. Always a good example to go to. I watched Citizen Kane the other day, and boy, I really liked it. I thought there was a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of great acting. Some of the shot composition was really nifty and not typical with what we see today. I like to see this character change over time and the events that happened to Kane, our protagonist, and the way that other characters affected him, and all kinds of stuff. I really enjoy that film. Then I was like, okay, that seems like a reasonable thing to say. And for lavishing so much praise onto a film, you picked a pretty good one, right? But all this tells me is whether or not you're good or whether or not you're bad at assessing the quality of film. Because this isn't about whether I liked it or not, or whether they liked it or not. That might play a part of it, though. This is whether someone says that a film is objectively good or bad based on, certain criteria. Criteria like internal consistency, reasonable cause and effect, logic, characters behaving as they are established to be, things of that nature, right? But again, none of that has to do with character. It's just about movies. You could have horse poop opinion when it comes to movies. I really think Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom's great. I really think that I think The Last Jedi is a wonderful masterpiece. Fine. You're totally wrong. horrifically wrong, but you could still be a good person, and you could be great and grand and wonderful and magical, and you could be a lovable person, and people could still say nice things about you. You just have shit taste in films. I didn't censor it that time. I gotta work on that. So, let's get back to the tweet. There are certain segments of the population who tend to skew towards certain sides of the political spectrum, I've noticed, who like to assess you at a distance and who like to try and judge who you are as a person, character and principle and all, based off of very shaky criteria or very little criteria. The red flag movie list, right? If you like Fight Club, if you like The Joker, something must be wrong with you. You must be an incel, you must be a right-leaning Nazi, fascist, blah, 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 blah. We're living in a clown world where myself, Mahler, Fringy, the rest of us on Every Frame of Pause, we've been called horrific things because we don't like a superhero movie or a Star Wars movie. Because there are some people out there who like to fancy themselves as intellectuals, who feel that it is a wise decision to publicly declare their stance on somebody else's character based on as little criteria as what movies they did or didn't like. I shouldn't have to explain how incredibly stupid this is, how incredibly foolish this is. But apparently, we still live in a world where those people exist. So while looking up some stuff on red flag movies and whatnot, because this is just a foreign concept to me because of how fucking stupid it is, but there was a feminist podcast called the Bechdel Cast, and they made a list of red flag movies, and it was similar in concept here. So we can take a look at these movies that are red flag movies and see what they have to say. Maybe you like too many movies that are on the red flag list, right? And you should reconsider. All right, if you or a loved one really enjoys one of these movies, blah, 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 rewatch it, think about it, they're problematic. Okay, we got Manhattan, Ghostbusters. Jeez, Ghostbusters are great. Transformers, odd. We have Stripes, The Rock, The Big Lebowski, Scarface, Drive, The Hangover, Fight Club, The Boondock Saints, Porky's, Blade Runner, Taxi Driver, Joker, Revenge of the Nerds, and Leon. These are some... There's a lot of great films in this list, just so we're clear. I've seen a fair number of them, and I've really enjoyed pretty much all the ones that I have seen. Taxi Driver's overrated, but we'll get to that later. There are 1,000,001 reasons why somebody can like a movie, or why somebody can believe that it's good. It could be the act. It could be superficial elements, like maybe, and I say superficial with many quotes, so don't get angry that I called these things superficial, as if they don't have any value, because they do. I like the music, or I like the cinematography, or I like some of the shot composition, or I like the colors, or things of that nature. I like the sound effects, maybe. Those are all valid reasons to like something, yeah? There's plenty of movies that I don't think are not particularly good, but they have a pleasant look to them. They're colorful, or they're very appealing to look at, right? And there are also reasons to like a movie that are more, I guess, substantive. The writing, the plot and the story, the characters and how they behave and how they act and how they emote, things of that nature. Then you have the meta stuff, like the thematics of the movie. What are the themes of this movie? What is it trying to present to me as an idea or a concept? Maybe you can like it for even further meta things, like I really like the director, and I enjoy seeing his or her vision, right? I like to look at a film and think about how it relates to what the creator is trying to tell me and the people who enjoy it. Many reasons to like a movie. And to just flat out say, right? To flat out say that that you can judge somebody's character to the point of whether or not you trust them, which is of incredible value, right? You should be very picky with who you lend your trust to with whom has your trust. You need to be very picky. You need to be very, very, dare I say, discriminatory as to who gets your trust. And to base the trust you give to people based on them liking a movie, it's one way to live your life. Fucking idiot. Maybe you'll grow. Maybe you'll wisen up as time goes on. Who knows? But are there movies, right, that are so foul and depict such horrific things that if somebody likes it or says it's good, would they cause you to worry? I think so. I think they would cause a pause. Yeah? There are films that have graphic depictions of horrific torture and violence, sexual abuse, all kinds of horrific, barbaric acts that are indescribable for YouTube, right? We can just imagine a hypothetical movie in your head to whatever degree you're comfortable with. If someone came to me and said, I love this film that's about sexual abuse, that there's graphic depictions of sexual abuse to children and minors, or is just full of awful, horrific imagery, and if they came to me and said that they really, really enjoyed that, and they were big fans of the film, it's not enough for me to conclude anything. But there's definitely an aspect of my psyche that will raise a mental brow at any person who tells me that. And who knows, maybe for whatever reason, it just appeals to them in some crazy way. And I shouldn't judge that too harshly. There's all kinds of crazy, weird things that I'm interested in, or that are strangely appealing to me, or that fascinate me, right? For reasons that I can't quite elaborate on. However, with all of this being said, the opposite is not true either when it comes to green flag movies, in terms of it being a display of one's character, about the trust you can have in a person. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt had respond to that tweet and said that a green flag movie for him was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I think it's what it's called. I saw it a while ago, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. But in the same way that you can't make these kinds of incredibly deep and meaningful character judgments on people based on whether or not they liked a red flag movie, the same is true with green flag movies. You liking a film, the most horrific and terrible and awful person can like an amazing piece of art for whatever reason. That doesn't change the character of that person. One noteworthy example is that Hitler had a particular fondness for the music of Wagner, The Ride of the Valkyries, and Lohengrin. Now, that one fact alone, though, can tell you nothing about Hitler's character, be it good or bad, though from what I hear, he was a real jerk, so keep that one in mind. People like the author of this tweet, Cuchillo Lope, right? I don't know who this guy is. I don't really care to, honestly. There's always this aspect of myself that says, be careful to judge someone else's character, but when I hear that someone is like, oh yeah, I'm going to give you trust or distrust you because you like a film or not, that sends up some red flags of my own in my brain. I don't know how much I want to associate or get to know or hang out with someone who has an opinion that's that foolish and potentially vile. That's the kind of opinion that people can hold that can really cause harm. Casually mentioning, oh yeah, the Joker movie from 2019, I really like that. Imagine this was a person who had a position of power over you, a boss perhaps, or a colleague. I won't get too far into it. I'm sure you know where I'm going, right? It's far more telling about you that you would judge people's characters based on such criteria and not things that are more meaningful. There's a lot of people out there, again, who I've noticed tend to drift towards certain sides of the political spectrum, who are ready at a moment's notice to declare you a thing, to label you a thing, and call you something, right, based on pretty much nothing. I've been called horrible names because I like Star Wars, etc., etc. These people you need to watch out for. be wary of them in the way that they see the world. People are not so simplistic and monofaceted as they like to believe. And at the same time, take care that in your revulsion of these kinds of attitudes, you don't swing and meet them by accident, right? It is very important, especially nowadays, to have a level of self-awareness about you and the way that you kind of look at how people really are in more meaningful ways. No one is perfect. And of course, flawed character is on a wide spectrum. And those are some thoughts of mine. I don't script these Dogbytes ones. I just figured I had a few things to say, and this kind of tweet really rubs me the wrong way. I'm very glad that he's being eaten alive in the comments and in the replies. He's getting ratioed pretty well, but despite the ratio and the much better response of the people responding to him, there are still people who have this attitude. And if we can change that, then all the better. We can't be assigning this kind of deep principled positions based on what movie somebody likes. We're going to have to do a little bit better than that. I know it's easy. I know it can be really easy and tempting maybe, but there's got to be a better way. Before I go, though, I want to put a quick little plug for my makeshift plushie. You guys should really check these out. They are super cool. I've talked about them on Every Frame of Pause. I've talked about them on my main channel video I put out recently. And some other places I've been making an appearance this last week or so. But for those of you who don't know, I have an incredible plushie that is made by Makeship, as does my friend Mahler. And if you buy both of these plushies, you will get a 10% discount. And these plushies are amazing. I have the prototype, the single rags plush, right here on my computer, and he is looking fantastic. You might really enjoy having it. It helps me out. It helps them out. It helps everybody out. So if you want to get your hands on one, a limited time plush, go for it. I would appreciate it immensely, and you will not regret it. These are some high quality pieces of craftsmanship right here. And with that said, I will catch y'all later, everybody.